Hey booktube, it's Tara, and instead of this being Friday reads, it's going to be weekend reads, probably for the next couple months or so. We'll see how it works out. I'm thinking this will be easier to shoot on the weekends versus coming home from work on Friday, trying to shoot a video, edit, and on top of that, doing what I need to do at home, being a mom, so on and so forth. So I'm going to go over the books that I finished this week, what I started. I thought about doing a December wrap up because I have not done that on my channel yet. However, I've already talked about the 4 books that I read in December, and I feel no need to, I guess, go over those or repeat those 4 books. As far as what I finished in December, if you're interested, the Illuminae Files, Illuminae, book 1 in the trilogy, 5 stars. Book 2 in the same trilogy, Gemina, 5 stars. A Knock at Midnight by Brittany K. Barrett, nonfiction book, 4 stars, but it was very, very good. And a short story by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie called Zikora, 5 stars. And again, I believe I've already spoke about these books in a prior video that I will try to link in the cards. So this week, I finally finished Zoo, if you're watching, Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. I started this book on September 1st, 2020, and just finished it January 5th. It is a slog, long, very, very long. What's it about? Well, about a lady named Anna Karenina who is married to an older gentleman, much, much older than what she is. And it's what happens when you decide to leave your old husband for your younger side piece and all that comes with that. So I think it's, let me see, 964 pages of that, plus some other, ancillary characters and how they tie into the story. But that's the gist of it. The second book that I finished, finally, the Autobiography of Malcolm X. I started this book April 18th, 2020. I finished January 5th. Why did it almost take me a year to read this book? Because it is dense. It is nonfiction, of course. It's an autobiography of Malcolm X. Some parts were kind of boring and kind of, not necessarily fun or interesting to get through, which I think is why I ended up putting it down for a little bit and then picking it back up sporadically. And then, of course, some parts were fascinating and interesting to learn. Basically about his life from childhood up until his tragic death. So I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I loved it. It's a dense read. His book is also 527 pages, written by Alex Haley. The most interesting part, though, that I found about the autobiography of Malcolm X was the, I guess, epilogue at the end, where Alex Haley goes over his experience in interviewing Malcolm X and what that was like, kind of like the behind the scenes of what it was to convince him to be interviewed. And Malcolm X's, he had trust issues. He only trusted his wife, for instance, 75%. He trusted no one 100%. So if you got 75% of his trust, you were doing good. And Alex Haley received a phone call in his epilogue. He says at 3 o'clock in the morning or 4, and Malcolm X said, "Alex, I trust you 75%," and hung up the phone. And so that speaks volumes to how much he was willing for this man to tell his story, because Malcolm knew, based on his autobiography, that he would not live to see an old age. Next book I finished, the last in the trilogy of the Illuminae Files, called Obsisio. And the third book in this trilogy wraps up the first two books, so all the characters come together. Plus you get some new additional characters in the third book of this space opera sci-fi fiction story. Third book, I only gave 4 stars. I guess because I became used to the cliffhangers and used to the what's going to happen next feeling from the first 2 books, and because this third book wrapped it up, I didn't get that, and it kind of, I guess, tied everything up in a nice pretty bow. I do still have questions about the artificial intelligence Aiden. If you are to read the book, then you know what I'm talking about, but outside of that, it was a good trilogy overall. So what I'm currently reading is the third and final book in the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin, The Stone Sky. Just getting started on this one, so I'm not very far in. I think I just made it to chapter 2, hoping to finish it in the next couple to 3 days. And I'm also reading a book called Your Money or Your Life, and this is written by Vicki Robin. I understand this is an old book, but the latest edition or revision of it was back in 2018. This book is 366 pages. Obviously, it is nonfiction, and it is a book that that is supposed to help you redefine your relationship with money in order to understand financial intelligence, financial integrity, and financial independence, and what that means for you. So I'm enjoying it thus far, reading it on Kindle because the audiobook is not ready yet in Libby. And so that wraps up my weekend reads. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoy my content. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.